Most people think money can buy anything. Respect, happiness, even love. But Julian Thorne was about to discover his millions couldn't buy the one thing his dying son actually needed. He came home early to catch his maid stealing. Instead, he found her in his son's room doing something that would bring this billionaire to his knees. What he saw changed everything. Comment below, have you ever judged someone before knowing their story? Julian Thorne. 46 years old. Self-made billionaire. Real estate mogul. Owned 73 properties across 12 states. Net worth, $2.3 billion. But here's what the magazines didn't tell you. Julian Thorne was empty inside. He lived in a 15,000 square foot mansion. Marble floors. Crystal chandeliers. Original artwork worth millions. But it was silent as a tomb. Because 2 years ago, his wife died. Cancer. 6 months from diagnosis to funeral. And Julian? He threw himself into work. Avoided the pain. Avoided the grief. Avoided his 8-year-old son Leo. Leo used to be a bright kid. Always laughing. Always drawing pictures. Always trying to show his father his latest creation. But after his mother died, Leo stopped smiling. Stopped drawing. Stopped trying to reach his father. And Julian didn't notice. He thought buying things was the same as giving love. New gaming systems. Private tutors. Designer clothes. He has everything a kid could want, Julian told his business partners. But Leo didn't want things. He wanted his dad. And he wanted his mom back. 6 months ago, Julian hired a new maid. Maria Santos. 42 years old. Single mother of 2. She'd worked 3 jobs before landing this one. Cleaning houses during the day. Waitressing at night. Weekend catering gigs. All to support her teenage daughters. Maria was quiet. Respectful. Never complained. She arrived at 6 a.m. and left at 6 p.m. Cleaned the massive house top to bottom. Cooked meals that Julian barely touched. Made sure Leo's clothes were ready for school. All for $18 an hour. But Julian didn't see her as a person. He saw her as the help. Someone to be watched. Someone to distrust. He'd installed security cameras in every room. Reviewed footage at night, looking for any sign she was stealing. You can never be too careful, he'd tell his friends. These people are always looking for an opportunity. Julian watched Maria constantly. Through the cameras. Through surprise inspections. He'd count the silverware. Check the jewelry. Monitor the wine cellar. Nothing was ever missing. But that only made him more suspicious. She's smart, he thought. Waiting for the big score. He was cruel to her in small ways. You missed a spot, he'd say, pointing at a perfectly clean counter. Don't use so much cleaner. It's expensive. I need dinner ready by 6:30, not 6:35. Time management, Maria. Maria never complained. Just nodded. Apologized. Worked harder. What Julian didn't know was that Maria needed this job desperately. Her older daughter Rosa had been accepted to college. Full scholarship. But she needed money for books, housing, expenses. Maria was saving every penny. She couldn't afford to lose this job. So she endured Julian's suspicion. His coldness. His disrespect. Because her daughter's future depended on it. Meanwhile, Leo was disappearing. Not physically, but emotionally. He'd come home from school and go straight to his room. Didn't eat dinner. Didn't do homework. Didn't talk. The private tutor Julian hired complained. He won't engage. Won't even look at me. I think he needs therapy, not tutoring. Julian dismissed it. He's fine. Just needs time. Kids are resilient. But Leo wasn't fine. He'd stopped eating lunch at school. Lost 12 pounds in 3 months. His teacher called multiple times. Julian never returned the calls. Too busy. Too important. Too uncomfortable. One night, Maria found something in the trash. Leo's lunch. Untouched. 3 days in a row. She started watching him. Not like Julian watched her, with suspicion. But with concern. And what she saw broke her heart. Maria noticed things Julian didn't. Leo would stand at his mother's bedroom door, staring. 4 hours. He'd sleep with a photo of her under his pillow. He'd worn the same bracelet she gave him for 2 years. Never took it off. Maria understood. She'd lost her husband 6 years ago. Heart attack. She knew that kind of grief, especially in a child. And she saw what was happening. Leo was drowning. And his father was too busy to notice. Maria made a choice. It wasn't in her job description. She wasn't getting paid for it. But she couldn't watch this child suffer. So she started small. During her lunch break, instead of eating, she'd knock on Leo's door. "Would you like a snack?" He'd shake his head. "Okay. I'll leave it here if you change your mind." Day after day. Week after week. Always gentle. Never pushing. After 2 weeks, Leo opened the door. "Why do you keep bringing me food?" "Because you're hungry. And because I care. My dad says you're just the maid." Maria smiled sadly. "Maybe I am. But maids can care too." Leo let her in that day. Maria sat on the floor. Not on the furniture. Didn't want to overstep. "Tell me about your mom," she said. And Leo started crying. For the first time in months, someone had asked. Someone had listened. Someone had cared. "She used to make me sandwiches. Cut into stars. She said it was like eating wishes. She used to sing to me when I couldn't sleep. She used to tell me stories about when she was little. And now she's gone and Dad won't talk about her and I feel like I'm forgetting her and I'm so scared." Maria held him while he sobbed. This broken little boy. This neglected child. Who had everything money could buy. But nothing his heart needed. "Would you like me to help you remember her?" Maria asked. "How?" "Tell me the stories. I'll help you keep them alive." And that's how it started. Every day during her lunch break, Maria would sit with Leo. And they'd remember his mother together. For 4 weeks, Maria and Leo met in secret. Not because they were doing anything wrong. But because they both knew Julian wouldn't understand. Week 1, Maria found old photo albums. Hidden away in closets. Boxed up. Forgotten. She and Leo looked through them together. That's Mom at her college graduation. That's Mom and Dad on their honeymoon. That's Mom pregnant with me. Leo laughed for the first time in months. Week 2, Maria helped Leo organize his mother's things. Not to throw away, but to treasure. Her favorite scarf. Her perfume. Her jewelry. Things Julian had packed away because they hurt too much. But Leo needed them. To feel close to her. Week 3, Maria taught Leo to cook his mother's recipes. Simple things. Pancakes. Cookies. Soup. "Your mom made the best chocolate chip cookies," Maria said. "How do you know?" "Your dad told me once. Before he stopped talking about her." They baked together. Made a mess. Laughed. Week 4, Leo started eating again. Started doing his homework. Started smiling. His teacher called Julian. "I don't know what happened, but Leo is like a different child. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." Julian took credit. "I've been spending more time with him," he lied. He hadn't. He'd been in Chicago for a week. But Julian noticed something odd. The house felt different. Lighter somehow. And Leo seemed less broken. He didn't know why. Didn't think to ask. Just assumed time was healing. Then one day, Julian checked the security footage. Something had caught his attention. Maria going into Leo's room. Every day. During her lunch break. What is she doing in there, he wondered. His old suspicions returned. Was she manipulating Leo? Trying to get money from him? Was she stealing family heirlooms while pretending to clean? Julian decided to find out. He cancelled his Tuesday meetings. Told everyone he'd be gone until Thursday. But he planned to come home early. To catch Maria in the act. Whatever that act was. And on Tuesday afternoon, at 2 p.m., he came home. Julian's car pulled into the circular driveway at exactly 2:03 p.m. He'd parked down the street first. Watched. Confirmed Maria's car was there. Now he crept toward his own front door like a thief. He unlocked it silently. Stepped inside. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Usually, he'd hear the vacuum. The washing machine. Something. But today? Nothing. She's definitely up to something, he thought. He checked the living room. Empty. Kitchen. No one. His office. Untouched. The master bedroom. Nothing missing. Then he heard it. A sound coming from upstairs. From Leo's room. A woman's voice. Soft. Rhythmic. Was she on the phone? Talking to an accomplice? Julian's fists clenched. He'd trusted this woman in his home. With his son. And she was betraying him. He crept up the stairs. His expensive shoes silent on the carpet. Reached Leo's door. Put his hand on the knob. He could hear her clearly now. That voice. But she wasn't on the phone. She was singing? Julian's rage peaked. She was singing instead of working? While he paid her $18 an hour. He threw open the door. What do you think you're doing? And then he saw it. And his world stopped. Maria wasn't stealing. She wasn't slacking. She wasn't on the phone. She was sitting on the floor. Cross-legged. In her work uniform. Surrounded by photo albums. And Leo was in her lap. Not crying. Not broken. But peaceful. Maria was holding a picture of Leo's mother. The one from her wedding day. She was telling Leo a story. About how much his mother had loved him. How she'd rubbed her belly when she was pregnant. How she'd sung to him before he was even born. On the floor between them was a small plate. A sandwich. Cut into the shape of a star. Just like his mother used to make. Maria had used her own lunch break. Her own ingredients she'd brought from home. To make Leo feel loved. Leo looked up and saw his father. His face transformed. Not with joy. But with fear. Fear that his father would ruin this. Would take this away. Would send Maria away. Dad. He whispered. Julian stood there. This man who'd built an empire. Who'd negotiated billion-dollar deals. Who'd never backed down from a fight. He stood there, and he had no words. Because in that moment, he saw everything. His son. Smiling. Eating. Alive. For the first time in 2 years. Because of a woman he'd treated like garbage. A woman he'd suspected. Monitored. Disrespected. A woman who'd given his son what he couldn't. Time. Attention. Love. Maria stood up slowly. Mr. Thorne. I can explain. You've been coming up here. Every day. Yes, sir. During my lunch break. My own time. I would never. Why? Maria looked at Leo. Then at Julian. Because he needed someone. And you weren't here. The words hit like a slap. Not said with malice. Just truth. Simple. Devastating. True. I was working. Providing for him. Providing things, Maria said quietly. Not yourself. Julian opened his mouth. Closed it. What could he say? She was right. Completely, utterly right. And he'd been so wrong. Julian did something he hadn't done in years. He sat down. Right there on the floor. His $3,000 suit getting wrinkled. Dusty. He didn't care. Leo. His voice cracked. I'm sorry. Leo stared at him. For what? For everything. For not being here. For not talking about your mother. For not seeing that you were hurting. I thought if I didn't talk about her, it would hurt less. I thought if I kept busy, I could avoid the pain. I thought buying you things was the same as being a father. But I was wrong. So wrong. Tears ran down Julian's face. His son had never seen him cry. Leo climbed out of Maria's lap. Walked to his father. And for the first time in 2 years. He hugged him. Really hugged him. I miss her, Dad. I know. I miss her too. I thought you didn't want to remember her. I was scared. If I remembered, I'd have to feel it. And I didn't think I was strong enough. Maria says it's okay to be sad. That sadness means we loved someone. Julian looked at Maria. This woman he'd judged, suspected, diminished. She'd given his son permission to grieve. Something he should have done. How long have you been doing this? Julian asked. For weeks, Maria said. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have listened? Julian thought about it. A month ago? No. He wouldn't have. He would have accused her of overstepping, of manipulating his son, of trying to get money or favors, because that's who he was. Suspicious, guarded, cold. You're right. I wouldn't have. But I'm listening now. Maria hesitated. Your son needs therapy, Mr. Thorne. Professional help. For his grief. He also needs you. Not your money. Not your things. You. Present. Engaged. Actually here. And he needs to talk about his mother. To remember her. To keep her alive in his heart. Avoiding her doesn't make the pain go away. It just makes him feel alone with it. Every word was a knife. True. Necessary. Painful. Julian looked at his son. Really looked at him. For the first time in years. Leo, would you like that? To talk about Mom? To remember her together? Leo nodded. Tears streaming. Yes. I want to remember her. I want to tell you stories about her. I want to show you pictures. I want to. Then we will. Starting today. After Leo went downstairs to get water, Julian stood up, faced Maria, and did something he rarely did. He apologized. Maria, I'm sorry. You don't need to. Yes, I do. I've treated you terribly. Like you were invisible. Like you didn't matter. I watched you on cameras like a criminal. I suspected you of the worst. And the whole time, you were giving my son what I couldn't. What I wouldn't. You were saving him. Maria's eyes filled with tears. I just did what felt right. No. You did what love looks like. And I didn't even recognize it. I want to make this right. A raise. A bonus. Name it. Maria shook her head. I don't want money, Mr. Thorne. What do you want? I want you to show up. For your son. That's all he needs. That's all he's ever needed. Julian nodded. I will. I promise. But I want to do something for you too. You have daughters, right? Yes. Rosa and Carmen. Rosa got into college? Maria looked surprised. How did you know? I pay attention to some things. Just not the right things. How much does she need? Mr. Thorne, I can't accept. You're not accepting charity. You're accepting payment for services rendered. You've been providing therapy, childcare, and compassion for 4 weeks. Way above your job description. Let me pay for Rosa's books. Her housing. Whatever she needs. Maria started crying. That's too generous. It's not generous enough. You saved my son. You saved me. This is the least I can do. Maria hugged him. This billionaire who'd looked down on her. Who'd suspected her. Who'd learned that character has nothing to do with a bank account. Thank you, she whispered. No. Thank you. The next Monday, everything changed. Julian didn't go to work. For the first time in 3 years, he called his assistant. Clear my calendar. All of it. For the week. But sir, the investors. Reschedule. My son needs me. He spent the morning with Leo. They made breakfast together. Burned the eggs. Laughed about it. Leo showed him his room. Really showed him. This is where I keep Mom's stuff. Maria helped me organize it. Julian looked at the shrine Leo had built. Photos. Her favorite book. A scarf that still smelled like her perfume. Can I tell you about her? Leo asked. Please. And Leo did. For 2 hours, he talked about his mother. The memories. The moments. The little things. Julian cried again. Freely. Without shame. I've been so scared to remember her, he admitted. Why? Because remembering meant accepting she's really gone. And I didn't want it to be real. But it is real, Dad. And pretending doesn't bring her back. Out of the mouths of babes. Leo was 8 years old. But he understood grief better than his father. You're right, Julian said. And I'm done pretending. That afternoon, Julian did something else unprecedented. He took Leo to a therapist. Dr. Sarah Mitchell. Child grief specialist. I should have done this 2 years ago, he told her. You're doing it now. That's what matters. Over the next weeks, Leo started opening up. About his anger. His sadness. His fear of forgetting. Dr. Mitchell taught him coping skills. Memory boxes. Journaling. Art therapy. And Julian attended 2 family sessions. Where he learned how his avoidance had hurt Leo. Where he learned to talk about his own grief. Where he learned that being strong didn't mean hiding pain. It meant facing it. As Julian changed, everything else changed too. He started actually seeing Maria. Not as the help. But as a person. With a story. With struggles. With dignity. One day, he sat with her during her break. Tell me about your daughters. Maria looked surprised. You want to know? I do. So Maria told him. About Rosa. 18. Brilliant. First in her family to go to college. About Carmen. 15. Shy. Talented artist. About her late husband. How she'd raised them alone. About working 3 jobs before this one. About sacrificing everything for their future. You're a good mother, Julian said. I try. You do more than try. You're exactly what I should have been. Present. Loving. Selfless. Maria smiled. You're learning. That's what matters. Julian started noticing other things too. His gardener, Miguel, hadn't taken a day off in 3 years. His driver, Thomas, worked 80-hour weeks. His assistant, Jennifer, missed her daughter's recitals because he needed her. He'd been treating everyone like they were disposable. Like their time didn't matter. Their families didn't matter. Their lives didn't matter. As long as they served him. So he made changes. Gave Miguel 2 weeks paid vacation. Reduced Thomas's hours. Hired a second driver. Let Jennifer leave early for family events. And raised Maria's salary to $35 an hour. Mr. Thorne, this is too much. It's not enough. You deserve more than I can ever give you. But this is a start. Maria hugged him. Thank you for seeing us. For seeing me. Thank you for teaching me how to see. 3 months after that day, Julian did something Leo had been asking for. They planned a memorial for Leo's mother. Not a sad funeral, but a celebration of life. They invited everyone who'd loved her. Friends, family, co-workers, and Maria, who Leo insisted be there. She helped me remember Mom. She has to be there. They held it in the garden, the one Leo's mother had loved, where she'd planted roses and tulips, where she'd taught Leo the names of flowers. People shared stories, funny ones, sweet ones, honest ones. They laughed. They cried. They remembered. And for the first time, Leo felt like his mother wasn't gone. She was alive in every story, every memory, every heart. Julian stood to speak. 2 years ago, I lost my wife. And instead of grieving, I ran. I buried myself in work. I avoided my son. I built walls so high, I couldn't see what I was losing. But 3 months ago, someone showed me what I was missing. Someone I'd dismissed. Someone I'd disrespected. Someone who saved my son when I couldn't. He gestured to Maria. Maria taught me that love isn't about money. It's about time. It's about presence. It's about showing up when it's hard. She taught Leo how to grieve. How to remember. How to keep his mother alive in his heart. And she taught me that worth has nothing to do with what you have. It has everything to do with who you are. So this memorial isn't just for my wife. It's for Maria too. Because she represents everything my wife valued. Kindness, compassion, selflessness. Maria, thank you. For saving my son. For saving me. For being the person I should have been. Maria was crying. So was everyone else. After the memorial, Leo ran to Maria. Hugged her tight. Thank you for helping me remember her. You're welcome, sweetheart. You know what? What? I think Mom sent you. To help us when we needed it most. Maria looked at Julian. Who nodded, tears in his eyes. I think she did too. 1 year after Julian came home early. Everything had changed. Not just in his house. But in his entire life. Julian had restructured his business. Hired a CEO to handle day-to-day operations. He stayed on as chairman. But he only worked 3 days a week. The other days? He was with Leo. They went to the park. Played catch. Had picnics. They cooked together. Maria taught them family recipes. They volunteered at a grief center. Helping other families. They laughed. They cried. They remembered. And they healed. Leo was thriving. Back in school full-time. Making friends. Still in therapy. But stronger every day. He'd started drawing again. Pictures of his mother. Of his father. Of Maria. And Maria? Rosa had finished her first year of college. Dean's List. Carmen was applying to art schools. Maria had moved into a better apartment. And Julian had offered her something else. Maria, I don't want you to be my maid anymore. Her face fell. You're firing me? No. I'm promoting you. What? I want you to be Leo's nanny. Officially. With benefits. $60,000 a year. Health insurance. Retirement. Everything. Maria couldn't speak. You've been mothering him all along. I want to recognize that. Honor that. Pay you what you're worth. I don't know what to say. Say yes. Leo needs you. I need you. You're family now. Maria cried and laughed and said yes. But Julian didn't stop there. He created a foundation. The Maria Santos Scholarship Fund. For children of single parents who needed financial help. He funded it with $10 million. Enough to help 1,000 families. This is in your honor, he told Maria. Because you represent the thousands of parents working 3 jobs, sacrificing everything, just to give their kids a chance. You deserve recognition. Support. Respect. Maria couldn't believe it. Why are you doing this? Because you changed me. And I want to change how we treat people like you. With dignity. With honor. With the respect you've always deserved. 6 months after the foundation launched, Julian was invited to speak at a business conference. 5,000 entrepreneurs. All chasing success. The old Julian would have talked about profits. Strategies. Domination. But the new Julian had a different message. Most of you know me as a billionaire. A success story. A self-made man. But I'm here to tell you I was a failure. The room went silent. I'd built an empire. But I'd destroyed my family. I'd achieved wealth. But I'd lost what mattered. I treated people like assets. I measured worth by bank accounts. I believed success meant having more than everyone else. And I was wrong. Completely. Devastatingly wrong. He told them about Leo. About Maria. About that day. I judged a woman based on her job title. Her income. Her status. And she turned out to be the richest person I'd ever met. Not in money. But in character. In compassion. In everything that actually matters. She didn't have a business degree. But she taught me more about leadership than Harvard ever did. She didn't have wealth. But she showed me what true richness looks like. She was just a maid. But she was more valuable than anyone in my boardroom. So I'm asking you to examine your lives. Who are you overlooking? Who are you dismissing? Who are you treating as less than human? Because I promise you, the people you're ignoring might be the ones who can teach you the most. Success isn't about your net worth. It's about your character, your impact, your legacy. And legacy isn't what you